Hello and welcome. My name is Andjelko. I'm a Director of Engineering at HAProxy Technologies. Imagine a world without communities. A world without communities would be a bleak and lonely place, where every person is left to their own devices and limited to what only they themselves can achieve. Coincidentally, it also sounds eerily similar to closed-source software. This is why open-source software exists, and communities like ours. Because we know we can be better when we rely on each other's strengths, and because every contributor brings a new perspective and a new set of skills. At HAProxy Technologies, we go out of our way to open up as many ways as possible of interacting and contributing and being a part of the HAProxy community. In this keynote, I will present some of the ways to interact with HAProxy, how we've extended HAProxy's interoperability and extensibility capabilities. And also, I'll give some sneak peeks on how we plan to continue to do so. By improving interoperability and extensibility, we open doors for new community engagement, new users, new developers, and a wider reach. Growing the synergy benefits we get from having a friendly, interactive, and helpful community of skilled users and developers. As new technologies emerge, the fundamental qualities of HAProxy that enable scaling of resources, protecting uptime of services, and securing of communications, they become ever more important, not less. HAProxy has always had great features for interaction and detailed stats. So we embraced those and we keep making them better to enhance our interoperability. Let's go through some of them. Interacting with HAProxy usually starts with the configuration file. It's an incredibly flexible, yet still understandable and human-readable basis of harnessing HAProxy's capabilities. It is possible to create optional compile time extensions like our support for Prometheus or Open Tracing, achieving a tightly integrated and performant implementation. Prometheus and Open Tracing add data export capabilities, but we have compile time extensions that can enrich HAProxy operation with additional information, like support for a number of device identification libraries contributed by their vendors. The Runtime API is a direct line of interaction with running HAProxy processes to inspect and influence how they work. A great example of taking advantage of this is the support for it in Telegram, which then opens up over 50 output targets, including InfluxDB, Prometheus, Kafka, Elasticsearch, and others. The vast amount of detail that HAProxy tracks about every requested processes can only be explored through logging, and HAProxy has the support for logging standards and an infinitely flexible log format to support exposing these detailed request metrics. But HAProxy is not just about exporting data. Service discovery is one great example of getting data into HAProxy to automate its configuration and in dynamic environments. Lua scripting, it opens up infinite possibilities of programmatically influencing HAProxy's request processing. And there is hardly a better example of that than one of the later talks in the conference from our friends over at Yelp, who added Rust support to HAProxy by way of Lua bindings. Finally, the SPOE protocol allows us to create standalone processes in a variety of programming languages that can interactively contribute in processing requests and be scaled independently of the main HAProxy process. Currently supported languages are C, .NET Core, Golang, Lua, and Python. And with the protocol public and extensively documented, we look forward to even more languages being supported in the future. Two prominent open source projects we built over the past couple of years continue the same trend of providing ever more ways of interacting and integrating with HAProxy, and making it easier and easier. They are the data plane API and the Kubernetes Ingress controller. Both of them rely on HAProxy for doing the heavy lifting of proxying traffic, but also on a third open source project of ours. Client Native is a Golang library that combines HAProxy configuration file management together with interacting with HAProxy through its runtime API. It can then expose models and functions for interacting with HAProxy to Golang programs. Client Native is making use of a highly specialized parsing library that provides two-way transformation between program objects and HAProxy configuration file, making it vastly superior to templating-based approaches that are only unidirectional. Client Native also embeds an OpenAPI specification that describes resources able to be used in projects like the data plane API and Kubernetes Ingress controller. The library can be used by any Golang application developer that would like to develop software that tightly couples with HAProxy and manages it. The data plane API is a sidecar process or agent running alongside HAProxy. It extends HAProxy's already rich feature set with the REST API built on top of the previously mentioned OpenAPI specification. This brings to HAProxy a standardized and familiar way of using HTTP requests on API endpoints to reconfigure it and interact with it. Being built on OpenAPI is also yet another enabler and a point of extensibility for application developers. Application developers can use the specification to quickly generate client bindings that interact with the data plane API. And they can use this with any language that has code generators available. Already that's over 30 languages, and the count can only go up. The data plane API also improves the interoperability of HAProxy even further, adding Consul and AWS service discovery capabilities, with more of them planned in the future. Our community Docker images come in Alpine, Ubuntu, and Debian flavors, and always pack the latest and greatest HAProxy, packaged by the experts at HAProxy Technologies. One upcoming data plane API feature we're excited about announcing here is the addition of an API endpoint we're calling structured data. This will enable all of the managed API resources to be reconfigured at once, supporting either YAML or JSON format, effectively providing the ability to do a two-way conversion of HAProxy configuration between the standard HAProxy for configuration format and YAML or JSON. You will be able to upload your existing HAProxy configuration to data plane API's already existing raw configuration endpoint, and then retrieve its YAML or JSON from new structured endpoint, or the other way around, and with that, benefiting from input validation as codified with the OpenAPI specification. This can be a great enabler to make use of tooling available for the familiar YAML or JSON formats and for reconfiguring all features of HAProxy in just a single request. This feature will find its way into the next data plane API release. The Kubernetes Ingress controller brings the highly regarded performance benefits of HAProxy as a layer 7 load balancer into the Kubernetes environments. The Ingress controller is constantly improved with additional features added based on user feedback, and also tracking Kubernetes as it develops new capabilities. Most recently, the Ingress controller gained CRD, custom resource definitions support, as a more robust and forward-looking alternative to annotations for its global, defaults, and backend sections configuration. CRDs make interacting with the Ingress controller more reliable, as they provide for much tighter input validation. We also added multi-arc support and started producing ARM builds to bring the benefits of HAProxy and our Ingress controller to an even wider set of Kubernetes environments. Our Helm charts make installing the Ingress controller on the Kubernetes platforms quick and easy. And our efforts have not gone unnoticed. Recently, HAProxy's Kubernetes Ingress controller passed the 10 million download mark. And we plan to continue our efforts going forward. We're carefully watching the evolution of the Gateway API specification in Kubernetes. And we'll be looking forward to extending HAProxy's reach in Kubernetes in that way too. One more great example of collaboration with our users and how our planning for building in extensibility at each level of abstraction is enabling innovation is the HAProxy Consul-Connect project. Developed jointly with our friends at Criteo and managed by HAProxy Technologies, this project too harnesses the benefits of the client-native library and data plane API, and then enables users to scale out and maintain configuration of hundreds of HAProxy instances. All of the things we mentioned so far are open source projects catering to the widest possible audience, but we can't forget our enterprise users with their specific needs. For all our major projects, we build enterprise releases with maintenance periods measured in years. This gives our enterprise users the confidence that they can rely on bug fixes and expertise to help them out at timescales appropriate to their needs. And the reliable release cadence gives them the comfort to plan upgrades timely and without rushing. For our enterprise users, we've revamped our Docker images to include the S6 init system and to start HAProxy and data plane API together by default. For our enterprise users on the Red Hat Marketplace, we built an operator implementation. The operator allows our users to manage the lifecycle of our Kubernetes Ingress controller in that environment and will be released soon. Through collaboration with VMware, we brought support for HAProxy to vSphere with Tanzu, another integration initiated by the community. I already mentioned support for AWS Service Discovery, but we're actively working on even more integrations with AWS to further simplify our users' experience there. Finally, we're building a control plane to complement our data plane API and allow our users to manage fleets of HAProxy instances from a single pane interface. If we put some of the components and features I've mentioned today onto a diagram, it might look something like this. In actuality, the wide variety of environments and all of our valued partners and users can't easily be represented by just one diagram. If we accidentally left you out, please register as a speaker for the next HAProxy conference and share with us the great things you've built. But also, you don't have to wait for the next conference to get involved. Since you're a part of this conference, chances are you're already participating in the community and the buzz around HAProxy. But if not, there are plenty of ways to start. If you find HAProxy is missing a feature, but you're experienced in one of the many ways HAProxy can be interacted with, extended, or developed on, join us in developing. You can check out our mailing lists where HAProxy core design development is discussed and send patches, or join in on one of the GitHub projects and send pull requests. If coding is not your cup of tea, but you're an experienced user, give us feedback on the features you like and what you'd like to see next. Participate in forums and our community Slack, and help out new users still making their first steps with HAProxy. And if none of that works, just use HAProxy and tell your friends if you like it. That's already enough. With your help, we'll have even more great things to look forward to in the next year. HAProxy will continue to pair support for latest technologies with unmatched performance. We'll be broadening the appeal of interacting with HAProxy by enhancing our data plane API with more convenience features. The Ingress controller project will build in features to support Kubernetes Gateway API capabilities. And we'll be extending the automation possibilities and increasing the ease of use in complex scenarios with even more service discovery features. An HAProxy operator for the Red Hat Marketplace, and our own Fusion control plane. Instead of being a lonely and desolate place, by building in integration points and open protocols at every opportunity, we've grown a lush and vibrant ecosystem around HAProxy. Each opportunity we've added for our users to build upon, our users have taken us up on it. Extending HAProxy's reach and capabilities and broadening the ways in which it can thrive. Sometimes even in the ways we never thought of, but always to the benefit of the ecosystem. This is why we will continue to build and expand HAProxy's versatility, integration capabilities, and ease of use, so that we can continue to grow together with our lovely community. Thank you.